Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and it's time for the Game Week 32 team selection video where I will be showing you my free hit team for the game week. So hopefully you guys are excited as I am for the free hit week. If you are, please hit the like button. Please do subscribe if you are new around here and you want more updates on FPL. And without further ado guys, let's have a look at my Game Week 31 scores. Okay, so Game Week 31 was an interesting one, I suppose. Not really too many of my players actually scored points. Obviously, we did well with Erling Haaland captain in just half games worth of football. He manages the 12 points, double to 24. We'll take that. Ollie Watkins, great success. He was pretty much the definition between a good week and a bad week for many people, I guess. But in all honesty, guys, the rest of my team pretty much sucked. Martinelli got an assist. March got an assist. Everyone else blanked, which was really a shame. Luke Shaw was not available for the game, and Man United got another clean sheet, so that's another game week where I've had Luke Shaw. Man United have kept a clean sheet, but Luke Shaw hasn't been available, so that's been really frustrating. And Bruno Fernandes, man, he could have had a monster haul. Wasn't to happen, unfortunately, and he goes away with 3 points after that Nottingham Forest game. So a few disappointments around the team, I suppose, but overall, you look, a point score of 64. It is slightly above average. It has given me a slight rank increase, so it's not the end of the world. It's just one of those meh game weeks where it's like, whatever. Let's just move on to the next one. But guys, you will notice that a lot of my players do not have a fixture for Game Week 32. A lot of these players are blanking now with plenty of doubles in the future. For example, my Man City, Brighton, Chelsea, and Man United and Man City, and loads of players. So many players that all have doubles in the future, but that means that they have to blank in 32 in order to have those doubles in the future. So we're perfectly set up for future double game weeks, which is amazing. So my plan always has been to cover this game week with a free hit, which allows me to keep these beautiful doubling players for the future. And we can just cover them for 1 week only with a free hit. So let's do that. Okay, so unlimited transfers on a free hit. This team that I've made today has got a value of 99 million. I do have 3.1 in the bank as well to play around with if I need to. But let's run through this team, guys, and then I'll tell you some of my final questions I have before I lock this in. So, first of all, in goal is Johnston, which is looking like a really good goalkeeper at the moment. He's making saves. He's playing against an Everton team that aren't very good at finishing, but take a lot of shots. So, that's going to be more save points for Johnston. But more importantly, Crystal Palace are just a good defense, really. So they've been very good defensively under Hodgson, and I am expecting a clean sheet from them, or at least hoping for a clean sheet, and at the very least we are going to be getting save points from this game as well. Johnson has made plenty of saves recently, so all in all, a good home game for a good defense against a team where you're expected to make saves against. I think this is a really good goalkeeper, and probably one of the most nailed on players, to be fair, in my entire free hit team. I think he's just the goalkeeper to go for right now. I prefer him to all of the other options. Into defense, guys, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, another lock in anyone's FPL team for free hit. Certainly, you've got to have him in your team. Nottingham Forest at home, Trent playing slightly more advanced in kind of a midfieldy kind of position at the moment, where he's going to be able to be a little bit creative. Hopefully, we're going to see some high creative numbers against a pretty weak Nottingham Forest team. So let's see what he can do there. Also, clean sheets are very much on the cards for Liverpool, with Nottingham Forest being one of the worst, if not the worst, attack in the entire Premier League in recent games. So yeah, good opportunity for a clean sheet for any team, even if you don't really rate the Liverpool's defence. When you play a really easy defensive fixture, sometimes the clean sheets do come your way, and if not, we're going to be getting hopefully some attacking returns, set pieces, crosses, passes from Trent. We know what he likes to do. Next up, Kieran Trippier. So I have gone for Trippier against Spurs, and I've listed this as a medium difficulty fixture, but honestly, I'm not actually sure that they are. Now, Newcastle have been keeping things pretty tight defensively. They've got some of the best defensive numbers in the entire Premier League. Only sort of second to Man City if we're looking at expected goals, big chances conceded, shots in the boxes, etc, etc. So Newcastle are still a very strong defence, playing against an out-of-form Tottenham team, playing at home. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Newcastle, they have not been keeping too many clean sheets recently, but a lot of those are kind of one goal that they seem to be conceding per game do seem to be from individual errors, which are kind of random in many ways. Overall, their numbers defensively are actually really good, with the exception, of course, of that Aston Villa game last game week. But I'm hoping that that was just a blip, a one-off. So therefore, the clean sheets have at least a small chance of a clean sheet in this game. But if I'm totally honest with you guys, from recent game weeks, I have essentially given up on clean sheets. Okay, maybe giving up is a little bit harsh, but certainly my strategy for this free hit team is to say, hey, I don't know where the clean sheets are going to come from. They seem to come pretty much randomly at the moment. Nobody knows where they're going to come from. Even the best defenses aren't keeping clean sheets. The worst defenses are keeping clean sheets somehow. So let's instead go for the players with the best attacking output. Now, we've already got Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's got some of the best attacking output of any defender. Trippier, exact same situation. Creative. I think actually Newcastle, because Spurs actually have to win against Newcastle, really, for a chance of top 4. It really is an important game for Spurs to win. So they're going to have to come out a little bit, which could give opportunities for Newcastle to score a decent amount of goals. If Newcastle is scoring goals, then Trippier, good chance that he is involved in that with assists. So, like that, like the attacking ability of Trippier, and finally we're going to finish off the defence with Alex Moreno, who, against Brentford away, you would probably say, Dan, that's a kind of a difficult fixture, surely. Like Brentford, they are capable of scoring a goal. They usually do score when they are playing at home, Brentford do. Even though Brentford have failed to score in a couple of their away games recently, in general, Brentford, not a bad attack. But Alex Moreno is one of the best attacking fullbacks in the league right now. He is taking an insane amount of penalty area touches. He's really bombarding forward, making passes, taking the odd shot on as well. So once again, we're not looking directly for clean sheets. We are focusing primarily on the most attacking defenders, and then clean sheets are going to be secondary because I don't know where they're going to come from. I think that Trippier against Spurs has just as much of a chance of a clean sheet than, Crystal Palace against Everton or, Arsenal against Southampton. It could come from anywhere. We don't know. Same kind of situation with Aston Villa. Their numbers defensively are poor, yet they seem to be keeping a clean sheet pretty much every single game week. So let's just go for the most attacking defenders we have at our disposal and then see what happens next. And if we get clean sheets, happy days. If we don't, maybe we can get some attacking returns instead. So, very small defence here. Let's move on into midfield. We've got Mo Salah. Of course, we've got Mo Salah. Everyone's got Mo Salah. You have to have Mo Salah. And, if you don't, you're probably going to be in a little bit of trouble, to be honest. Yeah, Nottingham Forest at home. Salah by far the best Liverpool attacker. His numbers are so much better than any of the other Liverpool attackers. He is more nailed on by far than any of the other Liverpool attackers. He's hopefully still going to be on penalties as well, and he's playing against a really disappointing Nottingham Forest team. We also know that Liverpool are a team that are very, very capable of scoring a lot of goals. Defensively, they have been questionable this season, but Liverpool never doubt their ability to attack because they are still a very, very strong attack, and I want to capitalise on that. And you guys will probably have guessed that because we only have one Liverpool defender, we might have one more Liverpool attacker in this team as well, which I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. Next up, Saka, however. I am going to go for Saka in my team, confirm that he is still on penalties. Couple of difficult games for him, but we still have to appreciate the overall quality of Saka. We know he is still a fantastic player, and he could come good at any point. He's also come out on social media saying he has been kind of disappointed last game week for the results. And I think there's going to be a bit of a fire in his belly. Overall, I just feel like he's good enough. He's a good player. He's a top player. We don't have too many top players really at our disposal this game week because we've got no Man City, we've got no Man United, we've got no Brighton. So Saka really is a top quality player that hopefully is going to pull through this game week. Now next up, Martinelli, who I am far more confident in him than I am of Saka because Martinelli genuinely has been one of the best FPL assets to own over the last, well, kind of like 10 game weeks now, to be fair. He's been doing absolutely brilliantly, and his underlying numbers really do top the charts alongside the likes of Salah, Watkins, Erling Haaland. So he really is genuinely a superstar, and he's playing against bottom of the table Southampton. So at home, you do expect that Martinelli, the form that he is at the moment, him combining with Gabriel Jesus a little bit at the moment as well, is looking pretty good indeed. So like the look of Martinelli at home against Southampton, and I think that's going to be a pretty good one indeed. Next up, Eze. So Eze against Everton at home. I think this could be an opportunity for him to score more points. He has been in very good form recently, so a lot of people have been picking up him. He's kind of like the most popular transfer of anyone at the moment, and that's partially because of his nice cheap price tag and the form that he's been in. Previously, he was kind of in and out of the team, couldn't really string any games together, but under Hodgson, Hodgson really has pulled Eze into the team and said, come on, you are the star of this team. Whilst there's no Zaha, you are the star. And he really has been that, hasn't he? Taken the most shots on, Maybe with the exception of Jordan Ayew, who was also, taking a decent amount of shots on. But Eze, from the midfielders, certainly is the primary goal-scoring threat, and I do like that about him. So in an easy game against Everton, Everton really have not been that defensively solid under Sean Dyche, to be fair. So I think there's going to be opportunities for goals in this game. So let's see what happens. I think Eze could definitely be the guy to get on the score sheet. Moving up front, guys, we have got Gabriel Jesus. So a triple up on Arsenal's attack, and that is partially because I don't really rate Arsenal's defence at the moment. Their defensive numbers are seriously down. Saliba is still out. Zinchenko is now expected to be out as well, which is going to be even worse for Arsenal. I just don't trust Arsenal to keep clean sheets. So therefore, even against Southampton, who are, like Nottingham Forest, one of the weakest, if not the weakest, attacks in the whole league, still don't trust them for a clean sheet. Arsenal at the moment, and I far more trust their kind of attack. And plus, their defenders don't have insane attacking numbers. It's not like they have a Trent Alexander-Arnold on their team. If there was a Zinchenko available and I was convinced that Zinchenko was going to start, then maybe I would go for him. Some people will be going for Ben White. That's absolutely fine, but I do prefer to go triple up on the attack. Gabriel Jesus is doing better than an attacking contribution per game at the moment, so I expect that to continue. Small chance of him getting rotated. Very, very small chance, might I add. But hopefully we will get some early team news and we can make last-minute changes to reflect that. But overall, Jesus against Southampton seems like an absolute lock and a real differential on those people who aren't free hitting this game week. I think it could be really, really interesting. Next up, Ollie Watkins, purely based on form. Same situation as I said last game week. You don't sell Watkins. You don't bench Watkins. When he is in this kind of form, he is going to score against anyone. He proved that against Newcastle. He's going to prove that again against Brentford. And I have to say, Brentford have not been good defensively recently. Their numbers defensively have dropped off a cliff to an extent where the kind of bottom 3 or 4 defences in the entire league over the last few games, depending on what kind of metrics you use, but they really are at the bottom of the table, worst defences in the league. So I am expecting a team in as good attacking form as Aston Villa, a player in as good attacking form as Ollie Watkins to really, really do the business over Brentford, even though on paper it's a difficult fixture. So the combination of Watkins, Alex Moreno, their combined attacking abilities, I'm hoping is gonna be giving me FPL points. Really, really hopeful of that. And finally, guys, we are missing a Liverpool player. So who might that be? Well, right now we've got Diogo Jota, and I know this is a little bit controversial. I know this is a little bit risky, but it's a differential that I really, really like the look of. It's definitely not the only Liverpool player you can go for. It's definitely not. There are other options. Absolutely fine. Go for whoever you want. But for me personally, Diogo Jota, I know him as a player from previous years, how good he can be, how important he can be for Liverpool. And when he starts on a streak, he is unstoppable. Becomes a really nice streaky player who just bangs in goals after goals after goals. It just means getting his form back up, getting his confidence back up, and I feel like that has happened now with the games that he's been playing recently. And by the way, guys, some of the games he's been playing recently have been very, very difficult. Playing some of the best teams in the Premier League recently. So now we're going to hopefully have Diogo Jota against a nice, easy game against Nottingham Forest to see if he can do the same as he did against Leeds. I've been very impressed by him. He is getting back to form. He has now broken his duck. He is going to hopefully continue to score. Now, there is small rotation risk for Jota, and I definitely do understand that. But the advantage of Jota is that not only can he play on the left wing, but he can also play through the centre as well for Liverpool. So he can play in a couple of different positions. And also, when Klopp has been persisting with Jota for all of these weeks, it doesn't really make sense to suddenly drop him when he's finally hit that form, because it does seem like Klopp has been trying to bring out the best of Jota and just putting the faith in him. Now he has rewarded the faith. I don't really see why he would be dropped all of a sudden. But hey, in football, you never fully know what's going to happen, and it's certainly a risky pick. I definitely agree with that. But what I'm gambling on here really is the Liverpool attack. The ability of Liverpool's attack to go out and score 5 goals against Nottingham Forest. And if that was to be the case, then Salah, of course, he's going to be involved, but so will Diogo Jota. So definitely a player I want to at least consider for my team, but he's not the only option, and we will go through a couple of different options in just one moment. First of all, the bench. So Guaita is on my bench right now, just in case he makes a miraculous recovery and covers for Johnston. So yeah, if Guaita is suddenly available, then that means Johnston probably drops to the bench, so we'll have Guaita instead, and we'll still have our Crystal Palace goalkeeper, and everyone will be very pleased indeed. I've got Andreas on the bench here, home against Leeds, which is a player I'm really considering actually starting. I think if it wasn't for his price, a lot of people would be starting Andreas right now, taking an insane amount of shots on penalties, set pieces. Andreas is just an absolute don, and he's playing against a Leeds team, playing at home against this Leeds team that have conceded, what, like 10 goals in 2 games or something ridiculous. It's like 20 goals in like 5 game weeks. They honestly, they're conceding so many goals, and I feel like that could be a big scoring game, and I feel like there's differentials to be had in that game. We also got Dawson on the bench here, Wolves defender, capable of a Thunderblast header. Maybe that's going to happen, possibly. I got Tyrone Mings on here as well, but these players I'm not really depending on too much. I feel like they're just kind of the best of the rest in many ways. I would maybe go for a Crystal Palace defender there as well, if it wasn't for my double up on the Crystal Palace goalkeepers, and obviously Eze in their team as well. So yeah, a little bit of a combination of different things. I think the priority definitely has to be the starting 11 there, and making sure we do have cover there indeed for the starting 11 with Andreas coming in. But defenders, not really so bothered about getting that perfect. And to be honest, I don't think there's too much going on outside of Trent, Trippier, Alex Moreno. You know, you could consider a Crystal Palace defender as well. After that, it's really not much other than Liverpool and Arsenal defenders, so whatever. Anyway, guys, with that said, we do need to show you a couple of alternatives that I have. So I'm going to throw them up on screen now. So my alternatives for Eze are Gakpo and Andreas, and genuinely, I'm really considering switching things around a little bit, and I feel like these are my final decisions to make. I would say that Alex Moreno is not 100% locked in my team, but he's pretty close. But Eze and Jota are the 2 players I'm a little bit doubtful. So if I don't go for Jota, I'll probably go for Isak. I prefer Isak to Solanke. I do feel like Newcastle could score a lot of goals against Spurs. Spurs have just been so poor recently that I can see Newcastle really doing the business over them, and I feel like Isak is going to be a big part of that. Spurs concede a lot of chances down the middle of the pitch, which makes sense, I guess. So yeah, it's going to be a case of Isak maybe coming in there to try and do something on penalties as well. Could be really nice, but that would mean I'd need a third Liverpool player, so maybe I'll go for Cody Gakpo instead. 7.6 million. And that would be pretty nice there as well. But I also kind of like the idea of keeping Jota up front, and instead of Eze, swapping him and Andreas around. I genuinely think that could really, really pay off, and it's going to be a differential that not many people are going for. I think the one worry for me is that everyone is bringing in Eze. Everyone is playing him, and if I don't do that, then maybe everyone's going to get one over on me if he does quite well. But at the same time, I like Andreas, kind of like Gakpo. I kind of like the idea of going for Isak, but this is kind of fun. The team I have without these kind of alternatives is kind of fun. It is a team that has a little bit of differential without being too risky, I think, and at the same time, covers you with all of the big players as well. So finally, guys, let's throw a captain's armband on Salah. I think that makes a lot of sense, and we'll put the vice captain on Watkins, because like I said, he is in such good form. You cannot doubt him no matter what you do. And that, guys, pretty much summarizes my free hit team. Like I said, there is a couple of minor changes that could happen between now and the deadline. So stay tuned for that. We'll be doing a deadline stream on Friday, obviously. But aside from that, guys, I'm pretty much there. I'm pretty much very, very close to having my finalized free hit team. I'm very, very happy with this draft. There's not really too many problems I have with it. I understand the risks that I have with some of my players, and I'm happy to take on those risks. Bit of fun after all. FPL is meant to be a fun game, but overall, I think we got a fairly decent team that I am fairly happy with overall. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like. Do subscribe if you're new around here as well. And make sure you got those notifications on, because we've got a couple more videos for this game week as well as the deadline stream. So we are going to be doing a 100 experts perfect draft team. So we're going to take the expert data and build the perfect free hit team for game week 32. Also going to be trying to build a wildcard team for game week 32. And that'll be out on Friday during the earlier on in the day before we do our deadline stream. So hopefully plenty of content for you guys. Plenty already uploaded on the channel this week. We are going ham on the videos, but aside from that, guys, hopefully see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.